Chant and dance as much as possible in this human form of life.
So holy name is considered the most sweetest. Even in our Kevalashtakam, we find Nilkanta Goswami is describing the holy name as the sweetest. Madhuram madhurebhyopi mangalebhyopi mangalam pavanam pavanebhyopi harer namaiva kevalam. Madhuram madhurebhyopi. Our holy name is sweetest of the sweet. It is the most sweetest sweet. होली नेम इज सो स्वीट कि रसगुल्ला रसमलाई सौंदे सबको मात देती है. It is the sweetest. So finally, to wrap up our discussion, dear devotees, when Prabhu Sri Ram was coming back to Ayodhya after defeating Ravan and after rescuing Mother Sita, when they were coming back on the Viman back to Ayodhya, the Ayodhya Vasis, the residents of Ayodhya, were so happy that after so many years, after 14 years, their lord, their master was again coming back. Because till that time, Bharat was ruling. It is said Bharat was such a brilliant brother and such a faithful brother that because Ram would always sleep on the floor, Bharat, Bharat for 14 years was also sleeping on the floor. For 14 years, because his brother Sri Ram was sleeping on the floor, Bharat, even though he was the king, was sleeping on the floor. And he would take instructions from the Paduka of Prabhu Sri Ram. So when Ram was again coming back with Maya Sita and Lakshman back to Ayodhya, the residents became so happy that a big festival was being celebrated, which is nothing but Diwali. Diwali is the festival where we light lamps. Avali means rose and Deepa means lamp. That festival where rows of lamps are lit are called as Deepa Avali. Like we say Chandra Avali. Avali means rose and Chandra means moon. That personality who's so effulgent like rose of moon is called as Chandra Avali. So Deepa Avali means rows of lamps are lit. Why rows of lamps were lit? Because Sri Ram was again coming back to Ayodhya. So that is the history of Diwali or Deepavali. So when Prabhu Sri Ram came, there was a very beautiful arrangement that was made. The residents, they told Prabhu Sri Ram that we have made this beautiful stage, we have made this beautiful asan where you can sit and different kings will come and offer their gifts and offer you Dandavat Pranams. So when Prabhu Sri Ram heard this, he said, well, this is not Maryada. We see the Lord always follows Maryada. So he says, Sri Ram says, this is not Maryada. You keep my asan, but near my asan should there be two more asans. What are the two more asans? One for Vashishta Muni and one for Vishwamitra Muni. Because they are also my guru. I learned the skill of using bow and arrow from Vashishta and Vishwamitra Muni. So there should be two more asanas. The kings should come, first offer their obeisances to Vashishta Rishi, offer a gift, then come and give the Dandavat Pranams to Vishwamitra Rishi, then give a gift, and finally they should come to me, offer a gift, and give Dandavat Pranams. That is Maryada. So when the Ayodhya Vasis heard, they agreed. And they made a beautiful stage, and 3 asanas were kept. And different kings were coming. And they were first offering their obeisances to Vashishta, and then giving a gift. Then they would go ahead, offer their obeisances to Vishwamitra Rishi, and then give a gift, and finally offer their obeisances and give the gift to Sri Ram. But the pastime starts very simple, but the twist here is everything was going perfect. But our very dear, exalted Vaishnava by the name Narada Muni comes to that place. And when we know jab Narada Muni aate hain, somehow this thing is there that Narada Muni jab bhi aate hain, bahut chugli karte hain. Yahan wahan aag laga ke chale jate hain. So this is somehow there in the minds. But we have to always understand from the broader perspective. But even here, Narada Muni, what he did, he came to this place, he observed everything. And there was one king who was standing in the line by the name Simanta Maharaj. So he went to Sumanta Maharaj and said, everyone is giving obeisances and offering gifts, that is okay. But Vishwamitra Muni is not qualified. Vashishta Muni is qualified, Ram is qualified, Vishwamitra Muni is not qualified. Don't go and offer him obeisances and don't give him a gift. He is not qualified. So when Sumanta Maharaj, he hears this, he says, okay, the instruction is coming from Narada Muni. So he agrees. So he goes there. He offers his obeisances to Vashishta. He gives a gift. And he rejects, he neglects Vishwamitra Muni and straight away goes towards Sri Ram. He offers obeisances and gives a gift. When Vishwamitra Muni sees this, he becomes furious. He becomes angry. And he storms out of that assembly. Because he was insulted. Vishwamitra Muni was insulted among so many people. He just storms out of that assembly. And Sri Ram is Maryada Purushottam. So he understood that something wrong has happened. So immediately Sri Ram, he followed Vishwamitra Muni. And he went to Vishwamitra Rishi and said, "O Muni, O Guruvar, what happened? Why did you leave the scene? Did I do something wrong? Did something wrong happen?" So Vishwamitra Muni explained the whole thing. And when Ram heard this, Ram said, "How can I correct this? How can you forgive me, O Vishwamitra Rishi?" Because Ram was thinking to himself that all the people who have come, they are his associates. So Ram was trying to beg forgiveness on behalf of Simanta Maharaj. But Vishwamitra Muni, he was so angry that he told Ram, "Can you do anything for me?" Sri Ram said, "Of course, I can do anything for you. Anything that gives you happiness, I am ready to do it." Vishwamitra Muni, he says, "Cut off the head of Simanta Maharaj and place it on my feet." So Sri Ram, he says, "Do you really want to do that?" Vishwamitra Muni says, "Cut off his head and give it at my feet." So then Sri Ram says, "But O Vishwamitra Rishi, we say Athithi Devo Bhava, that guest is like God and he is my guest. Does it look good to cut the head of a guest?" So Vishwamitra Muni says, "Oh, that is correct. Guests should always be respected in the form of God." So Vishwamitra Muni continued by saying, "How long will he stay here? How long is he your guest?" So Sri Ram said, "Oh, he's my guest for one more day, for another 24 hours. So Vishwamitra Muni says, "Which means from 25 hours from now, he will not be your guest." So Sri Ram said, "Yes, from 25 hours from now, he will not be my guest." So Vishwamitra Muni continued by saying, "After 24 hours, on the 25th hour, make sure you cut off his head and place it at my feet, because he's no more your guest." So when Sri Ram hears this, he agrees, because he has to fulfill the order of Vishwamitra Rishi. So he agrees. And when this is going on, Simanta Maharaj is hearing everything. He overheard the discussion completely. And he was frightened. He was fearing for his life. He was thinking to himself, in 25 hours from now, Prabhu Sri Ram is going to sever my head off. He's going to cut my head off. So he became very scared and he ran to Narada Muni. And he told Narada Muni, "What instruction did you give? My life is at stake. What instruction is this?" And now, dear devotee, see the interesting part. When Narada Muni hears this, Narada Muni says, "I gave you an instruction. Who told you to follow that instruction? You could have also not followed the instruction. You are a king. You can use your intelligence. I may give instruction, but you are a king. You can use your intelligence." When Simanta Maharaj, he hears this, he tells Narada Muni, "Please somehow protect me. Somehow protect me. I followed your instructions. It is up to you to protect me." So Narada Muni says, "Don't worry." Narada Muni, he calls his flower aeroplane, Pushpak Viman, the flower aeroplane, Narada Muni calls, and he sits on it, and he also requests Simanta Maharaj to sit on the flower aeroplane. And he takes Simanta Maharaj to a place called as Gandha Madana Mountains. He takes him there and he tells him, "You stay here for 25 hours to 36 hours, as long as possible, so that if you're not there in Ayodhya, Sri Ram will not be able to kill you and your life will be spared." So Simanta Maharaj, when he hears, he becomes very happy. And Narada Muni, he drops Simanta Maharaj in the land of Gandha Madana Mountains and he again comes back to Ayodhya. Now Simanta Maharaj is very happy because dur dur tak koi nahi hai. There is no one near. So he feels to himself that at least my life is now protected. Sri Ram will not kill me. Now when he is thinking this way, from very distinct place, he is hearing something. And Simanta Maharaj starts walking. आवाज सुनकर, ध्वनि सुनकर Simanta Maharaj चलने लगते हैं to find out what sound is this and who is the person who's making this sound. So when he goes by, he finds Hanuman is sitting there. And what is Hanuman doing? Hanuman is chanting the names of Sri Ram. Raghupati Raghav Raja Ram Patita Pavana Sita Ram Raghupati Raghav Raja Ram Patita Pavana Sita Ram Sita Ram Sita Ram Sita Ram Jaya Sita Ram Raghupati Raghav Raja Ram Patita Pavana Sita Ram. Hanuman is sitting and is chanting the glories of Sri Ram. So that Simanta Maharaj who came to this place to avoid Sri Ram was now hearing the chanting of the names of Sri Ram. And he understood that Hanuman is the most dear servant of Sri Ram. So now Simanta Maharaj was even more afraid. He was thinking to himself, he is so close to Ram, he will go and tell Ram that I am here. And in no time, Ram will come and kill me. So what is the benefit? नारद मुनि मुझे वहां से निकाल कर यहाँ लेके आए, लेकिन यहाँ हनुमान जी है जो श्री राम, प्रभु श्री राम के एकदम निकट पार्षद है, प्रिय भक्त है. So Simanta Maharaj was trying to maintain distance from Hanuman. But Hanuman saw Simanta Maharaj and he approached and he asked him, how are you here? You are a king, so you should be in your kingdom. What are you doing here? So Simanta Maharaj, he narrated the whole story. When Hanuman heard this, Hanuman said, don't worry, I will protect you. If someone wants to kill you, they have to first kill me. I will protect you, don't worry. So Simanta Maharaj becomes very happy. Now, this is one side of the story. Now Narada Muni at this time has again gone back to Ayodhya. And he goes and meets Prabhu Sri Ram. And he goes to Ram and says, hey Prabhu, aap kini ko dhoond rahe hai kya? Are you searching for anyone? So Sri Ram says, yes, I am searching for Simanta Maharaj. So Narad Muni says, Simanta Maharaj? Oh, he is in Gandhamadana mountains. What are you doing here? So Sri Ram says, he's in Gandhamadana mountains. You know? Narad Muni says, yes, he is there. And I can take you there. If you want to meet him, I can take you there. So Sri Ram says, okay, take me there. अब नारद मुनि जिनको बचाना चाहते थे यहां आके राम को कहते हैं कि Simanta Maharaj is there in Gandhamadana mountains. So he takes Sri Ram to the mountains, and when Ram sees Simanta Maharaj, Ram takes his bow. Simanta Maharaj, when he sees Prabhu Sri Ram, he becomes very afraid and he goes and hides behind Hanuman and says, Hanuman, you protect me. Rakshasvamam, you protect me. Please protect me. And Hanuman says, don't worry. I have given you a promise. Anyone who wants to kill me first has to kill me. So Hanuman stands ahead and Simanta Maharaj hides behind Hanumanji. And Ram, when he looks at Hanuman, he says, Hanuman, you should move to the side. I have to kill Simanta Maharaj. Hanuman says, no, my dear Lord. You have to first kill me, then you can kill him. So Ram, he picks out 2 arrows. And dear devotees, they were not ordinary arrows. Sri Ram picks up his Brahmastra and he picks up his Pashupati Astra. Even one arrow of Sri Ram is sufficient enough to kill Simanta Maharaj. But Ram was so angry that Vishwamitra Muni was disrespected. गोस्वामी जी रामचरितमानस में कहते हैं, श्रीला गुरु महाराज अपनी एक कथा में बहुत सुंदर तरीके से बताते हैं, भक्त प्रति जो करा अपराध राम रोष पावक सो जरेहि. That Goswami Tulsidas says, anyone who disrespects the Vaishnav, the devotee of Prabhu Sri Ram, Ram rosha pavaka so jarahi. The Supreme Lord through his vision destroys, he burns that person into ashes. So there is no scope for Vaishnava aparad when it comes to Prabhu Sri Ram. So here Vishwamitra Muni was disrespected. So that is the reason the Lord picked out Pashupati Astra, which is the Astra for Lord Shiva, and he also picked the Brahmastra, which is the Astra for Brahmaji. And he picked both these astras and he aimed it at Hanuman. When he aimed it at Hanuman, dear devotees, these weapons were traveling very fast and they were approaching towards Hanuman. And what was Hanuman doing? Hanuman was standing and he was chanting Ram, 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 Ram. He was chanting the name of Prabhu Sri Ram. भगवान का नाम जप रहे थे. और यहाँ प्रभु श्री राम अपने पशुपति अस्त्र और ब्रह्मास्त्र को he had released it. The arrows were traveling, and the moment they reached near Hanuman, the arrows stopped. The arrows stopped, and the arrows fell at the feet of Hanuman. It offered the obeisances, because we find these arrows are personalities. These arrows are not normal arrows. When Sri Ram uses them, they're personalities. So these arrows that were all set to kill Samanta Maharaj, they reached near Hanuman. They offered their obeisances to Hanuman and they went back to Prabhu Sri Ram. Ram said, what is this? I released you all so that you all can kill Samanta Maharaj, but you all have again come back to my quiver. What is this? So they said, my dear Sri Ram, we are your arrows, no doubt. But how can we kill Hanuman and Samanta Maharaj? They are chanting your names. They are chanting Ram, 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 Ram. How can we kill them? I'm sorry, my dear Lord. Your name is not different from you. Just like we cannot cause any harm to you, we cannot cause any harm to your name. And we cannot cause any harm to that devotee who's chanting your name, my dear Lord. So that arrows, they transformed into flowers and they came back to Prabhu Sri Ram. At this time, Narada Muni again goes back to Ayodhya and he brings Vishwamitra Muni here. Now all of them are present at Mandagadana mountains. He brings Vishwamitra Muni and Vishwamitra Muni sees Simanta Maharaj. And when he sees Simanta Maharaj, he becomes so angry. Vishwamitra Muni becomes so angry. At that time, Narada Muni, he tells Simanta Maharaj, oh Simanta Maharaj, offer your obeisances. Give Dandavat pranams to Vishwamitra Muni. And Simanta Maharaj jumps and just gives his Dandavat pranam to Vishwamitra Muni. And Narad Muni says, oh Vishwamitra Rishi, you wanted his head at your feet. He is not only offering his head at your feet, he is offering your whole body at your feet. Please forgive him. आपने उनकी मस्तक मांगी थी, यहाँ मस्तक नहीं पूरा शरीर आपको अर्पण कर रहे हैं. आप कृपया करके क्षमा कर दीजिए. When Vishwamitra Muni saw this, he started laughing as to how Narad Muni was so intelligent that instead of the head, he gave the whole body, at the same time protected the life of Simanta Maharaj. So Vishwamitra Muni forgave Simanta Maharaj. Simanta Maharaj got up and now Ram asked the most important question. Ram asked Simanta Maharaj, why did you do this? What inspired you to do this? Everyone was giving Dandavat to Vishwamitra Rishi. Why did you do this? So Simanta Maharaj, he was looking down. Sri Ram said, don't worry. You can tell the truth. We are there to protect you. So Simanta Maharaj looks at Narad Muni. And when he looks at Narad Muni, Sri Ram and Vishwamitra Muni, they look at Narad Muni and says, अच्छा, सब problem की जड़ जो है, ये Narad Muni है. Narad Muni is the cause of all problems. He created so many misunderstanding and so many miscommunication. So Sri Ram, he looks at Narad Muni and says, why did you do this? And what instruction you gave him to disrespect Vishwamitra Rishi? What was the agenda behind this? At that time, Narad Muni says a very beautiful point. He says, my dear Lord, I wanted to show to the world how powerful your holy name is. Even if the Supreme Lord wants to kill someone, he will not be able to kill because his holy name is more powerful than the Lord himself. We say that the Lord and his holy name are not different. That is true. But the name of the Lord is more powerful than the Supreme Lord. Because when Hanuman was chanting Ram Nam and when Simanta Maharaj was chanting Ram Nam, even Prabhu Sri Ram's Pashupati Astra and Brahmastra could not kill him. And the second point, Narad Muni said, I wanted to show to the world that your name is more merciful than you. You wanted to kill Simanta Maharaj, but your name is so merciful that it was ready to offer its mercy in the form of protection to Simanta Maharaj. Oh Prabhu Sri Ram, these are the 2 points I want to show to the world, that your name is more powerful than you and your name is more merciful than you. These are 2 qualities that the Lord himself doesn't have, but the holy name has it in abundance. So when Sri Ram hears this, Sri Ram has a big smile on his face and everything becomes pacified. The whole scene gets pacified. But the reason Narada Muni does this is to establish the power of the holy name, is to establish the power of one Ram Nam. Now, dear devotees, we find in our Hare Krishna Mahamantra, when we chant, we have Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, 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 Hare Hare. We have 4 times Rama. If one Ram Nam can give protection to Simanta Maharaj from Prabhu Sri Ram's Brahmastra and Pashupati Astra, how much more protection will we get by chanting this Hare Krishna Mahamantra constantly? And how much more the holy name will shower its mercy upon us when we chant the holy name. So we should have complete conviction on the chanting of the holy name. If one Ram Nam is so powerful, what to speak of 4 Ram Nams? What to speak of the name of Hari that is there in Mahamantra? And what to speak of the name Krishna that is there in the Mahamantra? And what to speak when all of these come together in the form of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra? How much power it can give us, how much mercy the holy name can bestow upon us.